can't do negative today. Positive vibes, positive vibes.
One day I hope you see the truth. This puppet show stays on because of you. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. Need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now.
Good evening, and welcome. Justice for All with Jocelyn. I'm your host, Jocelyn. Over my shoulder, you can see my little gnome, my American gnome. He pops in, he pops out, whenever he feels like it. So it's lots of fun. So, wow. It's just been crazy out there. Everybody's losing their mind, and you need to say, sit down, take a pill, chill out. And, 47's in charge, whether you like it or not. And things have been going on for so many years, for decades, that need to be fixed. In Congress, Mike Johnson and Congress, get your butts in the chairs and start making it law, especially the tax cuts. Make it law so it cannot disappear again. Just FYI, public servants, do your job because we the people are telling you so. So, like I said, it's a wild, wild west out there, and it's lots of fun. Don't get crazy, pay attention, because it's all for the good. It's going to be, you all go to exercise and, no pain, no gain. But where are you when no pain, no gain, when we're going to fix Social Security, when we're going to fix banking, when we're going to fix the manufacturing, when we're going to fix the taxes in the United States? Oh, no pain, no gain. You just want, a nice little kiss and a drinky poo? Ain't going to happen. You go to the gym, no pain, no gain. Well, guess what? Fixing this country, no pain, no gain. So suck it up, sunshine. We're in for a rocky, bumpy ride, and it's going to be awesome on the other side. You ride roller coasters? Well, this is what you're on right now. So put your big boy pants on and your big girl pants on and enjoy. Otherwise, zip it. All you paid protesters, go home. The evidence is ginormous that you've been paid, that you fly all over. That's your job, being a jerk. Oh, and what's your job? Oh, I'm a paid rabble-rouser. I'm a paid, let me fill in the words for you, asshole. You're a jerk. You're anti-American. You hate America. You like traitors. You like murderers and criminals and rapists and people that break the laws. Don't talk to me. Go back to your little house. Bye-bye. Don't like it? And all of you Hollywood people that, I'm leaving. You said that 8 years ago. We're still waiting. Don't let the door hit you on the rear end on the way out. Sayonara. Let's move on. All right. So we're going to move on. I got a great guest. Lots to talk about. As you know, New Hampshire muckraker. She's bringing it. Never gives up. Stiletto never gives up. I don't give up. Ron Bouchard, we're all out there. Jonah, Quinn Eastman, we're not stopping. It's just not in our DNA. But quick note before we go into hypocrisy and lies, don't forget to join us on Monday nights, because Monday nights is news talk. And we've got Canadian Carly, Stiletto, you've got me, you got Ron Bouchard, you got Flosser. Bringing incredible news from every corner of the world, every corner of the United States, dropping info and facts like there's no tomorrow. We do it the old-fashioned way that Stiletto and I set it up years ago. We drop the information, and then, if you've got something to add and it's pertinent and it's news, raise your hand. Again, it's on X. Call on you, and one of the only shows where we let you have your say. So, again, Monday nights, X, 8 p.m., be there. We had over 100 people live last night. That's really good because we are censored like there's no tomorrow. So that's huge. And then the replays, they'll go right through the roof. Make sure you share. All right, let's go on because I want to get to New Hampshire muckraker. Lots of stuff going on in New Hampshire. So without further ado, let's go to, my numbers are a little off, but video 2. A little bit of FaceTime truth here.
The fact that President Trump said this to their faces tells you everything you need to know.
Hi, Chuck. He used to love me when I was a Democrat, A special hello to all of you in this room who have known and loved me for many, many years. It's true. The politicians. They've had me to their homes. They've introduced me to their children. I've become their best friends in many instances. They've asked for my endorsement, and they always wanted my money, and even called me really a dear, dear friend. But then, suddenly, decided when I ran for president as a Republican that I've always been a no-good, rotten, disgusting scoundrel. And they totally forgot about me. But that's okay.
He's a scoundrel. His word usage is great. I write them down. Stiletto and I are always writing down different words to expand our vocabulary and our minds. Sometimes you just get stuck at home and you don't talk to enough people. But funny, strange funny. Today, Trump was speaking and he said, well, there's some politicians here, but I don't especially like them, so I'm not going to introduce them. Said it right in front of everybody. He just goes ahead and just blurts it out. It's absolutely fabulous. Yes, we want the real news, Miss Stiletto. Absolutely. Yep, replay of News Talk. Excellent. Thank you. All right, let's move on to video 2A. Nancy Pelosi. Where's she been lately? Let's take a look at this one.
Did you see the Nancy Pelosi debate with the dude from Mumford & Sons?
January 6th has been mentioned. A dark day for America, indeed.
Yeah, dude, he handed her.
And I'm sure Congresswoman Pelosi will agree that the entire month of June 2020, when the federal courthouse in Portland, Oregon was under siege and under insurrection by radical progressives, those too were dark days for America.
But it is not like what happened on January 6th, which was an insurrection incited by the president.
Blah, 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 wah, 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 wah. That's, when they do this, but that's not. You need to remove your finger because if it gets any closer to me, I'm going to break it. Get your finger out of my face. Get your finger out of my space because otherwise you're invasion, and I don't allow you in my space. Like those stupid circles you stood on and you turn around and say, don't come near me, my 6 foot, get on your circle. Otherwise the COVID's going to get you. Well, guess what? When your finger comes into my little circle, it ain't going to be COVID that comes to get you. Just warning you up front and personal. What I find very weird is, January 6th, there were some people that did some bad things, but the majority, absolutely not. It's 98% BS. But what did we have last weekend? A lot of people doing a lot of bad things with flags that aren't American, and I'll just leave it at that, but not a word is said, is it? Not a word was said. That was kind of like an insurrection, don't you think? Do you even know what the word means? Not an appropriate word. Anywho, let's go to picture 2B. I like this picture. They illegally spied on Trump. They undermined his presidency, stole the 2020 election. No kidding. Arrested him, charged him, indicted him, gagged Trump, censored Trump, raided Trump, went into his wife's underwear drawer, jailed his supporters, attempted to remove Trump from state ballots, convicted Trump and tried to kill him multiple times now that we're finding out. And none of this would be happening but FAFO. Love it. And I saved that clip from last week. It's going to be a clip that I'm going to keep in my repertoire. There's another word, stiletto. What was the one you said? Proclivity. You have to say it with an accent. It's proclivity and repertoire. So those are our two foreign words for the week, dear. All right, picture 2C. Very interesting. Sorry, keep it there. So we're talking about Rudy Giuliani. We haven't seen him for a while. Well, an FBI agent has been charged with unlawfully taking and disclosing protected FBI files according to the court records. His name is Jonathan Buma, and he specialized in national security and has been released on a $100,000 bond with orders to appear in court in LA. You know, thank you. The CIA and, certain people in the FBI, maybe a lot of them, maybe a few, I don't know. They've really been screwing with this country and really doing traitor-like behavior and things that are not appropriate to their oath of office and with no authority, as Ron Bouchard would say. Show me in the Constitution where it allows you to do this. I'm not going to go through it. The list is like really, really long. And I want to keep moving, because Monday nights is all about news. 8 o'clock on X. That's where we do lots and lots and lots of news. So I want to keep that there. Let's go to picture 2D. Another guy that's been missing. Matt Gaetz. Haven't seen him in a while. And he did, leave Congress, which I wish he hadn't, because I kind of wonder why he couldn't have done two jobs, but that's just my opinion. So where did he go? Kash Patel just tapped him as a special prosecutor to who? Prosecutor, to investigate who? The Biden crime family. So hang on to your heinies, people. It's going to be fun. We've got Kash Patel. We got Dan Bongino. We've now got Matt Gaetz. And just a plethora. Oh, another word, plethora of people that just keep popping up. Gonna beat you there, stiletto. All right, and last in this section, video 2E. I call this the cost of winning. Loving my boy Elon Musk. Let's see.
The reason we're seeing this extreme amount of hatred and violence is because we're actually succeeding in getting rid of corruption and waste. If we weren't succeeding in getting rid of corruption and waste, they wouldn't care. But we are succeeding. Without President Trump, this would be impossible. So I'd just like to say, it's only possible with this president. And we've got this narrow window of opportunity with the House, Senate, and a popular vote. Really, we're just implementing the will of the people. And we've got this window where we can finally take corrective action. We can fix the government, fix the country, and create a great future.
Makes a lot of sense. A lot of people don't like how he speaks, how he talks. He stutters a little bit, but I think his brain is going 900 miles an hour like Trump's. And I think, I think they fall over their tongue sometime, and that's not a bad thing. They're real, they're human, they're a person, unlike the over-rehearsed yelling, screaming left and the rhino right. Like him very much, down to earth, and I love his son X. He's so damn cute. I love how he bebops around behind Trump and he bebops behind his dad. He does that little, that weebles wobble, but they don't fall over. Well, he's a little bit past that stage and he's kind of into the skipping, yipping. My kids, I used to tell them that it was Tigger. He's in the Tigger stage where he just kind of bouncy, bouncy, bouncy like a little spring. And I'll just never forget that clip when he was walking on the grass to Marine One with Trump a couple weeks ago. And Trump was just loving it, treating him just like his grandchildren. Nice little hand on the back, didn't sniff him. Hand on his back, made sure he didn't fall down. When he got to the steps, picked him up, put him on the steps, made sure he got up. Worried more about that little boy, that little tiger there, and then got in himself. And Elon came along afterwards, but it was just a beautiful thing. He truly cherishes children. Not like someone else we know. Well, like a lot of people we know that don't cherish children. And that's another rude awakening. Big truth that's going to just keep coming out and coming out. Last night on News Talk, I was talking about they found a patent, because there's 2 T's, patent. So all you people that are dropping your consonants on the ends of the words, we need to fix that. They found a patent for adrenochrome. Legit. And it was 3M. I thought they made copiers and things like that. So why do they have a patent for adrenochrome? Look it up. It expired in 2020. Kind of a funny year, don't you think? Maybe that's why so many of them, look like they were dragged through the forest or a gravel pit. They didn't get their special Kool-Aid. All right. Well, with that, we're going to go to break 1. And when we come back, we're going to have the New Hampshire muckraker. And we're going to tear apart what's been going on in, I think, the second most corrupt state in the United States. Be right back. Nice. Hello, Miss New Hampshire Muckraker. How are you?
I'm good, Jocelyn. How are you?
I'm great. Are you enjoying this rainy London, Washington State yuck weather?
Government-controlled weather? No.
I'm like not liking this at all. And it was snowing today. Quite hot.
It was disgusting. Supposedly the sun's going to be out tomorrow. We'll see.
Okay, well, let's fingers crossed, and I just can't wait to plant my garden and put in the cloud busters, because we're all learning about those. Yeah. So what is...
I call it cloud cover. That's what they're doing, cloud cover.
Well, they're doing cloud cover, but we've discovered a way to make cloud busters. I'll have to send it to you. Yeah, we all need to do it. Definitely. So what's going on with you? Are things heating up in Hampton?
Well, a little bit. We had a BTLA, a Board of Tax and Land Appeals hearing last week. I'm waiting to I filed a right to know to get the actual recording of the hearing, because the board seemed to be pretty receptive to the information that was provided by the lead petitioner. Okay. Her hopes is that Hampton will have a full measure and list, because we actually haven't done a complete revaluation since prior to 2010. We've only been doing these statistical updates. So, and we're finding through research that citizens have done on their own with the help of a former New Hampshire assessor, we're finding that the information they're using to do these statistical updates is not entirely accurate. So that is actually, in my view, disproportionately taxing people in the town, which has already been declared unconstitutional by the New Hampshire Superior Court.
Just the fact that you said there hasn't been a proper full assessment reevaluation in 15 years, what are they using? You know, are you just going by
using supposed statistics and sales data, which, you know, the past few years of sales obviously have been highly inflated like everything else.
Yep.
With looking to, hopefully that's going to start to normalize a little bit. Some people like to call it a recession, but I call it normalization. From, you know, printing less dollars and not spending as much fraud.
Correct.
So I want to listen to that entire recording again, even though I was there. You know, it's hard to stressful when you're in the situation. So I'm supposed to, from the clerk's going to be sending me the recording. The assessor I'm working with already gotten her copy of it. And pretty much we have to wait to see what they say. The request from the petitioner is that Hampton have an actual measure and list, which will be quite costly. But in the end, if people's taxes are based on non-accurate data and that data is getting adjusted by inflation, then everyone is paying a lot more than they need to be paying. So, and of course, it's unconstitutional. It's not in accordance with Part 2, Article 6, that talks about taxing estates, and it's supposed to be done completely every 5 years. So 15 years is not 5 years. So that is also a problem. But I want to listen to the BTLA. I do want to give them a chance. And also I want that information because whatever was said by DRA and the consultants that the town uses to do the assessing work, that could potentially be used not only to help taxpayers, but it could also be used against the state. Correct. So that's usually what happens. These guys, they get cocky, they talk a lot, and they divulge information that they might not necessarily have meant to divulge. That's why right to know requests, in my view, are so powerful. Correct. Because you make it something that you're not actually looking for, but when you receive it, it's going to give you something that you need.
Yeah,
so
that happened with me 2020, 2021, 91A with my town hall, the town clerk, and ended up with some emails that were like, oh, really? Seriously? So I've got those squirreled away and given to 3 or 4 people. And same happened with Al. He got some information. So we've been sending it back and forth. You know, as pro se litigants, we don't have anybody helping us, and we're doing it all on our own. So our network has become pretty strong. And when somebody finds something that helps another person, we pass it on. And so, you know, that's all we can do is use our own brain.
Right. And that's mostly why I do things, not because I want to be the one to do them, but because I feel like if I do something, or if anyone does something that hasn't been done in the state, and we get it concrete, you know, in a document, then it's going to make it a lot easier for other people to do it.
Correct.
You know, pick up, do the same thing. Right to know requests to me are a tool in New Hampshire because it is so corrupt here. And most of these people are blinded by arrogance. So if you flood them with right to knows, they might not necessarily, they just want to get rid of you. So they might divulge information that they don't. It's what happened with me and Linda in the 2024 audit of the town election. They gave us stuff just to shut us up.
Yeah, here you go.
But they didn't realize that, one, I was working with the ballot box champion of the state, and that they were giving us information that we could use, because her, as a, you know, having that experience and me having an auditing background, we were able to dissect a lot of that information. So that's what I'm hoping to do here in Hampton with the taxes. We formed a taxpayer group that we're still meeting. We're going to set up concrete monthly meetings at one of the downtown venues. And we're going to focus on, for right now, the taxes, the elections, and the housing and zoning things that are coming out of Concord.
They seem to be coming fast and furious. And
well, they're panicked, and they're panicked because of 45, 47.
Yeah, because he's gonna shut this down. He's gonna make them accountable. I mean, everybody was, oh, we want you to be accountable and transparent. We haven't seen that in decades, and we definitely didn't see it for the last 4 years.
And then you got the Republicans calling it snob zoning, right? And that it's going against people's property rights. Well, you know what goes against my property rights is when I lived in a town for decades and we've had our zoning laws that were approved by the voters.
Yep.
You know, we're not a home rule state, but the state of New Hampshire has given the authority to planning boards to create local ordinances for zoning. And now they're setting up these unelected agencies in Concord and using federal agencies and county planning commissions to potentially overrule what has already been given to the planning boards in their authority, and they're the elected ones. So just because there's a town that may not let anyone do anything, well, that's not my problem, and it's definitely not Hampton's problem, because Hampton has let people do whatever they want my entire life. You know, I mean, there's no property right issue here, and don't put us in the same boat is some little tiny town that wants to have 4-acre zoning everywhere.
Right. Well, that's what we have here. That's what we have here. 2 acres or 2.5 acres per house. And it's like, that's absolutely insane because you're letting contractors put huge amounts of apartments and houses. And I want to put, a tiny house. I want to put another house on my property. But I'm not allowed to do that because, you've got to get your answers from God and jump through all these hoops. And that's not right. Because
and you got to have the money to pay these guys and lobby in Concord.
Yeah. And I mean, the bottom line is, do we or do we not own our land? It kind of goes back to the whole.
But at the same time, I own my land, but I live in a residential neighborhood a quarter of a mile from the seawall. So just because I own my land and I have property rights, does that mean that I should be able to put a zoo in my front yard?
Within reason, no.
Well, that's what these people are arguing, these so-called Republicans like Keith Murphy. He's one of the big pushers for all this stuff. Murphy, Innes, what's her face there? Carson, who I believe is the Senate president now.
Yeah.
And they're all, they've been pushing for it. And how did Keith Murphy get there? He's just like Kamala Harris. He never won a primary.
Yep.
He was anointed by the GOP when that other guy had to drop out because of health issues.
Yep. And again, not right. You have to be elected. There needs to be a special election like they just did in Florida, like they just did in Wisconsin.
But he's in there he's pushing all these bills. And who is he? He owns Murphy's Tap House. That's where the GOP has all their big events.
Oh, wow. That connection. Okay. I was like, why don't we know that name?
Yeah, Keith Murphy, Murphy's Tap House.
Oh, yeah.
And we've been to events there before. Karen's had events there before. Fine. But that doesn't mean that this guy should be able to not have to run in a primary because the GOP says so.
Well, at least somewhat have, an attempt at an election to stop installing people. I mean, it just goes against everything that they're, trying to say, we're doing this correctly, we're doing this right. And then at every turn, you're cutting corners every single time. So, it went in my head and out again. What was I going to say? Talk to me about, it just went in my head. About what?
Sununu?
Yes, thank you. God, why did I forget that? I'm like, total blank. So, do you think that Trump did endorse him, or was that sort of putting it out there because Sununu has not been very nice to him. He's been very disrespectful, actually. Never showed up.
Very disrespectful. Well, I'm going to tell you what happened. So I woke up Monday morning, and I have been an avid 1,000% MAGA, ultra MAGA Trump supporter since day one, since he was still running against 17 other Republicans back in 2016. I said to my boyfriend, now husband at the time, Trump is going to win. He's going to smoke all these people. And he did. And when I woke up Monday morning and I saw that clip of, him saying, now he didn't say I endorse Sununu. He said, I support Sununu if he runs.
Yes.
I hope he runs.
Yeah.
Okay. Like you were talking about stiletto and how you two analyze the words that Trump uses. Well, I do the same thing.
Yep.
And I've been doing it for a while now. I was sick to my stomach and I was on Twitter noting my sickness. And then I heard from a couple of my hugely MAGA patriot friends, one of them that actually escorted me to New Jersey when I rode my bike to Trump's Bedminster house at his golf course. And I said, Bobby, what is going on? And he sent me back a meme that says, he doesn't silence his opponents. He shoves them into the spotlight and lets them destroy themselves. So both you and I have been to enough Trump rallies, and especially when Trump wasn't president, those rallies, he would bring up people from New Hampshire that were either candidates or in office. And a lot of the times, the MAGA people, not the NHGOP people that were there, but the MAGA people standing on the ground in front of Trump would boo. So after Bobby sent me that, I trust Trump. I don't know whether that's smart or not, but I do. But that hurt me when I woke up to that on Monday. But after speaking with Bobby and a few other people, I realized that there is no rallies right now. So maybe this is what he has to do. And to me, he literally lit New Hampshire on fire by making those comments. New Hampshire for Trump, they put out a long, long post. It was excellent. I chimed in. A lot of people chimed in on it. It was all over. I can't get on Facebook, but my husband got it. Someone had posted it up on Facebook. It was viral. And I feel like, did he do that on purpose? And then this morning, we have the WMUR, which, it's going to be real if it's on WMUR, right? Saying that Sununu is not running for U.S. Senate.
Correct.
So we dodged that bullet, but that just means they're going to, pick their next one, which is most likely going to be Scott Brown, which is the same history with Trump. He wanted Trump to be charged for J6. And, you brought up a good point earlier. What did anyone do at the State House about these protesters that were there the other day?
Nothing. And those protesters, they had Palestine flags, Hamas headgear. They were just in there screaming and yelling and interrupting. I mean, that rally was all set. I'm sure that they got their licenses and everything that they needed. And these
I'm sure
nutcases just show up and destroy everything every time. And it's disturbing because this is America. I thought you came here to escape your country, and then you bring that here,
Well, yeah, and I'm pretty sure that was funded. Well, whoever did it, we could have had some stupid New Hampshire people that were there, but the organization of that, because it happened all across the nation.
Right.
And some people were even calling for Trump to be murdered. Can you imagine if one of us said that about anyone?
Anytime I saw those, I reposted and said, "Hey, Secret Service, this person. Hey, Secret Service, this person." Hopefully, they're watching. But there was a woman. I sent it to Stiletto. I don't think I sent it to you, but it was really gross. There was a woman on Facebook. I won't go into it, but she had a blow-up doll of Trump.
Oh, I saw that. I did see it. I don't know whether you sent it to me, but yes, I saw.
Then I did send it to you.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrendous. Are you kidding me?
And these people, and the sick part of it is, Jocelyn, we have people that think like that in my town.
Oh, I think they're in every town.
But when it's in the town that you grew up in, and there was never any hate before, and now there's all this hate for no reason,
Yep.
It's ridiculous. And then you're labeled as the divisive one.
Exactly. You're the bad guy. You're the one that causes all the problems. And it's like, there were no problems. I've lived here my whole life. You've been here 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and everything.
And it's like, hands off. Hands off what? Exposing fraud?
Yeah.
Waste of government and taxpayer money? You want hands off of that? Because you'd rather keep your blinders on and live in denial?
Well, and
vote for Gavin Newsom when he runs in 2028? Like, give me a break.
Speaking of which, I don't always do news, but I have family that lives down Southern California, and I sent them the clip that had come out about Tijuana just flushing their sewage right into San Diego. I mean, gallons and gallons and gallons. It's absolutely horrendous. And at one point where they have the gates and what do they have there? They have those big, I call like giant sewers, but they're not. It takes the overflow of water. But in there they have, because they have giant tunnels, pipes that take the water away. Well, they put these sort of gates in front of them to catch anything, like dead cows or something like that. And whatever else gets thrown in there. I was trying to be diplomatic. And piled up, absolutely jam-packed, piled to the top with garbage. And California's supposed to clean this up. We've got the fentanyl, we've got the criminals, we've got the gangs coming over, we've got sex trafficking, we've got gun trafficking, and now we've got garbage and sewage from Mexico.
Awful. And this is what they wanted the country to be like, was California.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted the whole country like that.
And again, I really have to think why. I mean, we know why in an intellectual level, but on a regular person level, if we didn't know what we knew, why do you want this to be a third world country? Why do you want this to be, a shithole? Why do you want to destroy this country? But if you look, they've done a really good job. Look at our airports. Yeah. They're absolutely abysmal, filthy, disgusting garbage holes. Nothing's renewed. Think about the actual airplanes. They're never clean.
Some of them. Yeah.
They're disgusting. Look at the air ducts. I mean, it's like cattle. It's like transporting cattle. Look at our roads, especially up here in New England. There are potholes everywhere.
Deplorable.
Absolutely deplorable. Our bridges, again, Northeast, crumbling.
And then when they do build a new one, it takes about 10 years.
Well, Route 3, what was that, 25?
I mean, at least Massachusetts can put them up in a year or so.
Well, exactly. What does the Constitution say? That our taxes, the federal taxes, are for infrastructure, trade, and defense.
Right. And the number one for the local governments is supposed to be local infrastructure, correct, which is the one thing that they don't even talk about most times.
Yep. No, it's funny, strange. I was talking to a couple of people today because we had our elections a couple weeks ago, the local elections, and we were able to stave off a multi-million, billion-dollar school when, we just need the schools fixed. But what we discovered, kind of like Doge, is where did the millions go that were to fix the roof and the this and the that, and the list goes down? Where did all that money go? Somehow during COVID, it all just got sucked up, the big suction.
Yep.
Gone. And we've got the SAU. And remember, people, your SAU is unelected. They're appointed. They keep filling it up like the government with six figures and benefits to rival the president. Meanwhile, we can't even go to our local doctor or, any of those things because we can't afford the co-pays, or you got to pay the first $6,000.
Right.
But we've got unelected hundreds and hundreds of people in this state telling us what to do. We've got school boards.
And then they listen to the school board association, the superintendent association. That's where they're getting all their things on what to push from.
Yeah, librarians. Oh, the librarians union says that genderqueer and all these anal sex and, where's your vulva books? And it's not Volvo, it's vulva. Where are all those books? And they're down in the elementary school. And if you go on Amazon, it says for 18 and over. So how are these librarians and all these people saying, well, it's none of your business. That's book banning. You're going to have us burn them. Damn right I want them burned.
Yeah, they should be burned. Especially if they're pushing pornography on children.
Thank you. 18.
Right. Well, that's like, we actually had some guy come in for the last public comment, which I've never seen before in my life.
Mm-hmm.
He came into public comment and he was complaining because of the federal tax cuts. The New Hampshire libraries are no longer going to get $1.5 million. So if people think that, yeah, exactly, who cares? If the local government or the local taxpayers don't have the money to fund the library, then the library is going to have to cut expense. Just like we had to shut ourselves down during COVID because the government so ordered by dictator tyrant Sununu.
Correct.
Some of us, I was able to work the whole time, but a lot of people I know, their place is closed.
Correct.
And if they got unemployment, that was one thing, but the ones that deserved it didn't seem to get it. And then you got these other people that are getting $600 a week to sit at home on their ass. And we wonder why Americans don't want to work. Well, gee, let me think.
Well, paying people that aren't working triple, quadruple what Social Security and seniors were getting that have paid into the system their whole life. People say, well, it's in the general fund. I'm sick and tired of all these excuses and words. You took the money illegally. You took it out of our paycheck illegally. Right. You browbeated and arm twisted our employers to take it out because we'll match it or whatever agreement they made with them. You had it for 20, 30, 40, sometimes 50 years people have worked.
Oh, yeah.
What's the interest on it? Even simple interest. Why was it mixed in with anything else? Because it isn't supposed to be. It's you took it illegally, and we're getting $1,000 a month back. Where some people are getting $900 a month back. You can't rent anything.
Nothing.
And they just need to be fired. I'm sorry. Time.
Well, hopefully the IRS is going to be going away.
God. Well. Still doing our tax. New Hampshire, Sununu signed in before he left to get rid of the dividends and interest. So that goes away as of this year. So next year, they're not going to be taking their, sticking their hand in your tax return or your tax filing. Hopefully we'll never have to do that again. I'm absolutely appalled at what they do for taxes and what you can deduct, what you can't deduct. On another show that's going on at the same time as mine, I was listening to them and, they were talking about transgender surgeries and things like that. And I'm thinking, and people are losing their minds over it. It has to be paid for, because it's paid for life because of the medications.
Right.
And I'm thinking of people that were in car accidents, were attacked, assaulted, somebody that's disfigured, and they go to the plastic surgeon and it's not covered. The insurance doesn't cover it. But we're going to, mutilate genitalia.
Right.
and it's completely 100% paid for. Well, guess what? Just like taxes, that in medical insurance is paid by you and me.
Right. But we have to remember the biggest controversial thing that Trump's doing is the tariffs, right?
Correct.
Now, you even got someone who I've always liked, who I can't stand right now, Rand Paul, because I know he's a libertarian. I understand that. But if Trump is threatening with tariffs, but at the same time, look at Mexico and Israel.
Yeah.
They agreed, no tariffs. So you have zero American tariffs.
Japan did too.
I'm sorry?
I think Japan did too.
Oh, I'm sure there's more, but I just know that, and he's meeting with like 53 countries, I think, over the next few weeks.
Correct.
So Rand Paul, you are arguing an issue that is not even going to be relevant.
Correct.
The only time it's going to be relevant is if Trump says, when you charge us, we're charging you.
Why
What's
not?
wrong with that? To me, that's not a tax. That's a business deal.
Correct. That's tit for
You're
tat.
agreeing to it. If you want zero tariff, then you'll build and you'll be American.
Correct.
So we might have to, get out of our comfort zone with some of the places and things we use, because some of those places may get more expensive. And
Correct.
we might have to go to something that's following under the guidelines of whatever Trump's tariff demands are.
Correct.
But
really lifting us up.
Then we're going to find out who the real legit American diehard patriot companies are. And all the other ones can bite the dust for as far as I'm concerned.
I'm very disappointed in Rand Paul. And, he supports Doge and he supports Elon Musk, but yet he's all over Trump about the tariffs. And I'm sorry, Canada is charging in excess of 250% on dairy products. That's inexcusable. Plus, they get several billion for us to subsidize. And they're opening their mouths and having an opinion. I'm sorry. No. Shut your mouth, politician.
And tariffs, unlike taxes on citizens, are actually constitutional. That's
Right.
how the country was set up, was on tariffs.
That was for the government. That was the whole reason for it, was to subsidize the government. Not you and me, not working, because
Right.
our paycheck is between us and the employer, and they are paying us for work we've done for them. So what
Right.
the heck?
That is income. That is income. That is livable income. You are giving your time for that wage. It should not be taxed. That's
Nope.
like when Trump says no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. In essence, no tax on, there's something else, Social Security. In essence, it's going to be no taxes on livable income. But it, like you said earlier in the show, it's got to get codified by Congress, because if not,
It disappeared.
then if we get a Democrat, God forbid, in 2028, or some wacko rhino, then they could just default back
Correct.
if it's not codified by Congress.
Yep. So
that's why it might be taking, people ask me, oh, when are we going to see it? When are we going to see it? I'm like, if you want to see it, then get on the phone with your congressman and tell them to get it through.
Yep. Get off your ass and do your work. Yeah, I was very disappointed in Rand Paul. Well,
Like
as always,
he literally sided with, what's the one that ran with Kamala on that?
the guy from Virginia.
Yeah, he sided with him on this.
Oh God, I can see his face. He's
He looks like Ray Buckley, guy.
Was it the one with Kamala? Tim Kaine.
Maybe you're thinking of Tim Kaine. Yes, Tim Kaine. Tim Waltz is the guy that ran with Kamala, who looks just like Ray Buckley.
Yeah, they all, the three of them look, spit 3 times and they look the same. Ugh.
Yeah, so he actually sided. Like, how can you justify that? Like, I understand you're a libertarian, but we have no choice. We have no choice. We've allowed it to go the other way, and it's because of senators like you. I mean, I liked him. He was one of my favorite ones, but bottom end of the day, Congress has not done their job in quite some time.
Well, and they're not representing the people. Yeah,
Right.
correct, Chris. Another schmuck. They don't represent the people. They're not a public servant. And,
Yeah, exactly.
of all the people, follow the Constitution, follow the law. But you know what? We're not supposed to have lawyers in our government, and bar none. Point one, oh, well, I can think of one, AOC, and I don't want to say her name. So that's one person that's not a lawyer. Thank God. They're not supposed to be in the government. Not supposed to be.
And when you get elected, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, and whether it's in the Congress, in the DC or the state or a town, you don't represent your party. You represent your constituents, your state, your city, your town. None of them do that. None.
They don't come close. Not at all.
It's all about the party when they get elected. And I am America first. I am not and will never be Republican first. And that is a hard pill for some people around me locally to swallow. Well, too damn bad.
Yep. Well, it starts with the GOP, and we already know what happened with that last year. So we'll see where that's going. Well, all right, my friend. As always, it's been.
Oh, that was so much fun and so fast.
I know. Super fast. So we got definitely see you in 2 weeks, and we'll do the same thing. Hopefully it'll stay so exciting. You can report back on what's going on. I can report back on complaints that we're filing for Hava, because we've got to let Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and all these guys know exactly what's going on. They know, but we have to officially file, and so they have all the paperwork, and then
exactly. We have to officially do it. That's why Trump has put these people in place.
And that's why he has these websites.
Exactly.
Exactly. All right, my friend, good to see you. And I'll be talking with you because we don't not talk. And then I'll see you officially in 2 weeks.
All right. Thanks, Jocelyn.
Take care. All right.
Bye-bye.
There we have it. New Hampshire muckraker Regina Barnes, as always, bringing it and just saying it as it is, because there's no other way anymore. We can't sugarcoat this. Enough is enough.
Say these words to you tonight. We will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. If I give you one message to hold in your hearts today, it's this: never, ever give up. There'll be times in your life you'll want to quit, you'll want to go home. Just never quit. I've seen so many brilliant people. They gave up in life. They were totally brilliant. They were top of their class. They were the best students. They were the best of everything. They gave up. I've seen others who really didn't have that talent or that ability, and they're among the most successful people today in the world because they never quit and they never gave up. So just remember that. never stop fighting for what you believe in and for the people who care about you.